Hello everyone. I hope that you can see me. Please. Okay, cool. I can see message from Margarita. Hello, Margarita. Nice to have you here. So let's give one more minute and we will start at scheduled time. Okay. Is anyone able to see me, to hear me? Like, is my screen visible? Just doing some preliminary checks. So you can post messages in the chat room. So I will see them. Okay, I guess we can start the call. Just a quick update. I having a small delay, so after you will post a message, expect some time. So when I will see it. But luckily for us, Margarita is today with us, so she will try to answer some of your questions during the stream. But in case if something will be missed, we will try to spend some time at the closer to the end of the stream, and we'll try to reply in all the details. In case if we won't be able to reply to any of your messages, we will try to reply later using the Discord, or as usual, we will try to create a forum to gather your questions. The answers, the questions and the answers will be collected in the same spreadsheet you are all familiar with. Okay, and yeah, so let me start the stream. Hello, everyone. My name is Igor Krashuk. I'm the lead software engineer at EPAM System, working as a full stack developer, focusing on React, content, and infrastructure. And today we are going to discuss the final task. First of all, let me congratulate those who managed to get to this final stage. You did really a great job, and I hope it was like an interesting journey. And you are approaching the final stage. I hope that this final stage, final step, would be also interesting, encourage you to learn like new stuff. So yeah, without further ado, let me like dive a little bit into the what we will be doing during last 5 weeks. So like first 4 weeks, you will be focusing on creating the REST clients and passing the technical React interview. And the last like fifth week will be devoted to the cross-check review, where you will be basically checking works of other students, and hopefully you also be able to add a video about the work which you did during this stage. So let me open the documentation for the REST client. Again, I won't delve too much into all the details which are listed here on the documentation. I think like it will be redundant. Again, we can clarify everything using the Discord. In case if you have any questions, I will try to quickly walk you through what you will be doing. And maybe we can, again, if you have some specific questions related to the requirements, you can put them in the chat. So yeah, as you all already know, you have to work in a team. Each team will be comprised of 3 people. So you will need to choose like a lead on your team who will create a repository, a private repository, and give you an access to this repository. Also, like you need to give an access to this repository mentor who will be helping you in this final task. This again, repository should be private, but you will be opening it for the cross-check stage and then closing it back, I guess. What you will be building? You will be building a REST client. Previously, we used to create. Sorry, we used to suggest creating not only just REST client, but also like a graphical client. But unfortunately, this brought a lot of confusions, and it was not always very straightforward. There are some issues when supporting both REST client and graphical. So we decided that going with more generic REST client would be better, especially in the light of, let's say, GraphQL is quite seldomly used currently nowadays, and like REST, you will be facing, like, I guess, each day during your work as a software developer. So you need to understand what is REST, well, at least if not understand in all the details what is REST, at least you know like, the basic structure of the request, request methods, headers, query params, body, like different content types, or what issues you can face, for example, course. So this will be also part of the things which will be tried to solve during this final task. Okay, cool. And yeah, so okay, probably let me quickly give you an overview of what you will be building, because it's better to show just one time rather than discuss it many times, right? So for the sake of this demo, I created like a small POC. This is like a bare minimum client, which all you can create. By the way, this is my mistake. You should not have like a default Vercel or Vite5 icon, and your application should have its own name. But okay, that's not a big deal. So yeah, you will be building a REST client. This is my local setup. You can see that's running. So I can go and I can execute request from here, and you can see that I am able to see the response. So status cost 200. That's great. Status text. There is no status text. Right? Again, small mistake. Anyway, here you can see the body of the response. Like, the response is not editable, right? I cannot edit anything here, like, because it's response section. I can see the headers of the response. For example, you can see the content type, you can see the date, transfer encoding, and I can also like modify my request. For example, I can add some header. For example, I can add the same content type. Let me try another type of request. I will simply copy the value. Sorry, just give me a second. So yeah, just don't want to type. I'm a lazy one. Okay, so I've added application X form URL encoded, and also I want to update the body. So, and again, I will just copy the code snippet, doing the same request, but this time using different parameters. And again, executing it and basically having the same type of response. By the way, can I get, I don't know, XML, say it, patient XML. To be honest, I don't know whether I can do it or not. I'm just experimenting here. Okay, yeah, now we got status code 406. I'm surprised that the body is still the same. Okay, looks like an error. Probably in that case, we didn't get anybody. Again, this is just a small POC for the demo purposes. I really think that you are like better and you can do, I mean that you can achieve much better considering that you have more time. You would basically have 4 weeks and you will be working as a team. So yeah, this is like a bare minimum for the REST client. Of course, there are more requirements. So one of the requirements is like basically request serialization in the URL. So you can see that, okay, yeah, by the way, I should be doing the post in that case. Yeah, that's my mistake. It's probably was that because, okay, let me delete that. Now I will do the search. I don't see that. Okay, don't know why, but so we're here not for the debugging purposes. Okay, so what you need to do, first and foremost, you need to expose your request details via the API. So you can see that in the, sorry, via the URL. So you can see that in the URL, we have method. Next, we have our endpoint URL encoded into the base 64. Then goes the body, again encoded in the base 64. And as query params, we have headers, which are part of an application. So why do you need to do that? So like simply, if I will refresh the page, you can see that application was able to get the details from the URL and restore them. So if I will like go and I don't know, like, okay, let me type something here. You can see that we are updating. As soon as I moved from this input, you can see that URL had been updated. So, and if I will go and again refresh, you can see similar, like we got an update. And example, if I will go and remove query params and update an application, you can see that now we don't have headers. Again, this was like a small demo of the capabilities. If you want to see like more production-ready tools, you can take a look at the thing like Request Bean, right? So here you can do similar things. You can type Google.com, Google.com, and we can execute it right away. Right? And we can see the body of the Google call. Of course, you can do different things here. You can see again like headers, you can see the row request, like you can see information about the directs. You don't need to do that. Basically, what you need to do, you need to display the body, you need to display the status code of the request, you need to display headers, and you need to be able to construct your request. Let me go back here. Yeah, as I said, like a RESTful client would be the central part of your application, although this would be like one of the things you will be working on. You need to create a main page. You need to create a user registration authentication route, like REST client with all those parts, variables section, and the history section. Let me provide some details about each of those. Main page. Main page will be required for your user to sign up or sign in. For the authentication, you can use, let me take a look. We did provided some solution for the authentication. Okay, for sign up. Yeah, for the authentication, you can use Firebase or Supabase. Like for Firebase, there is an article on how to use Firebase with your React application. I think it's pretty straightforward. If you want to use something more close to production, you can use Supabase. Supabase has a free tier which like has like 50,000 active users monthly, which I guess would be more than enough for the final project, considering that like, users would be using your application mostly at the end during the cross-check. Yeah, but of course you will be doing the testing, but still, I don't think you can exceed this number. But again, it's up to you what to choose, and we're just like giving you some options. And with Supabase, there is also a documentation on how you can add Supabase to your React application. You can again check the documentation. Everything is pretty straightforward. For the sign-in, sign-up, you need to implement client-side validation, but I think you are already familiar with that process because you've worked on that forms task where you basically implemented the same using either Yup or Zod. Yeah, a quick note about libraries, since I've touched the libraries. So in the main course, you were quite restricted in libraries usage. You don't have any restrictions on this final task. You are free to choose any tools you want. Still, we would suggest that you will be very considerate because if you will choose something complex, you might face issues. You might spend more time simply debugging those third-party tools rather than doing the real work, rather than working on the final task. Again, it's up to you. If you feel confident enough, like in any libraries, please use them. No limitations here. Okay, cool. Sign in, sign up. Yes, I touched this. So yeah, when user successfully sign in, you need to redirect user to the main page back. But this time you need to like display user information. From the main page, now you would be able to go to the RESTful client, our main part. And for RESTful client, you will implement it as a lazy loaded route. What does it mean? Again, you just finished the performance task. In the performance, in the theory part of the performance, we gave information about different techniques. For example, like using lazy loading to optimize your application. Unfortunately, for the performance task, it was really like hard to find something which you can implement using lazy loading to see the difference. But for the final task, it would be possible. So in that case, main main route, main RESTful client route will be lazy loaded. So in case if you don't sign in, you won't get this REST client at all. Like you won't be fetching it inside your app. Okay, next. Yeah, so this description basically is the same which I've already showed to you. Like we have method selector, right? So go back here, right? We can delete, we can select different methods. We have URL, which we can modify. And when we go out of the input, you can see that URL is being updated with the parameters. We can headers, we can add headers, right? So what we want. And yeah, there are a few things which haven't been mentioned in this POC, like haven't been included to the POC. This is like generated code section. I will provide some more details about this just in a few seconds. Also, response section, as I mentioned, it should be read-only. So this is basically the template which you can use for reference when creating your UI, but we are not limiting you. You can create any UI you want, but consider providing a good user experience when someone will be checking your application. Okay, so here we have requirements about serialization of the request details in the URL. So yeah, you can take the body. Oh, sorry, this is about okay. This is about routing on the REST client. Yeah, so it's about the serialization on the URL. So there are examples. So how you can do that. Now about the generated code section. So we want you to implement a small section where you can see the code, basically. So, for example, we have all the request details like method, like URL, like headers, body, request body, optional, of course, but still. And we want you to implement the solution which will allow us to pick the code and execute it. Example, like curl, right? So I can just go to your application, fill in all the request details, and get the curl, basically. Don't worry, there is nothing complex with that. You can actually use one of the existing libraries. You can find more. I will probably recommend using the Postman code generator, so you can see that it has all the flavors which have been listed as required. So you can see you can just pick just part of them, and yeah, basically create a code. Create a code as an output, so which can be used to execute your request. Okay, coming to the next section, variables. Variables, yeah, again, this is a private road, should not be available for non-authorized user, non-authenticated users, and also should be lazy loaded. You can store variables inside your browser's local storage. It means that next time when users will be opening your application, of course, if they didn't clear the cache, they would be able to see previously entered variables. And variables will be used in the request, in the RESTful client route when creating the request. What does it mean? Again, my POC does not include any variables. Again, I'm a lazy person and I don't have much time, unfortunately, to work on this POC. But still, imagine if I would say, like instead of typing long authorization here, right? I can just go and type something like bearer and oops, okay, and edit this. Yeah, you can see that now it's added the headers with this variable, but when I will execute the request and I will type go, I expect the variable to be taken from the local storage and exchange. So I don't want to see this bearer variable in the URL anymore. I want it to be a real value. And again, next thing is history. So when you execute the request, it will go to the history section. So in the history section, we don't want to see variables, but variables will be important when you want to reuse the same thing many times during your requests. And coming back to the body example. So if I will type something like full bar, I expect this to be a part of the body. So let me copy my code snippet one time. Let's say like if I wanted to this Aldebaran to be a variable, I would some errors. So I would simply type it as a variable according to those rules, right? Like this one, yeah, like full bar. So go here and simply placing it like this. And when I will be doing my request should replace my bar as a real value after I click execute, go, send, whatever. Okay, I guess, yeah, also variables should be supported in the URL, headers, like in your JSON body. History, I've already mentioned history. Again, private route, lazy load. History section will include links. When clicking on that link, user should be navigated to the respective RESTful section, it means RESTful client, the respective route, and all the values for the request should be taken from the URL. And again, this like important thing, history section should not contain variables. Okay, cool. This is a template for the history route. I think it should be pretty straightforward. I mean that there is nothing fancy. around this one. Yeah, just like for the sake of transparency, I would suggest that together with request details in your history section, you will be placing the time when the request has been executed. So you would be able to basically sort them by time step. Okay, that's all about main requirements. How to submit tasks. Link to the pull request is submitted only by the team leader who will be creating the private repo. And as I mentioned, like despite the fact that you will start working on this big repo, team repo as private, you will need to open it for the cross-check, so it will be available for everyone. And yeah, so if the task is not submitted before the deadline, it won't be distributed during the cross-check, and you won't be able to get the points. So here are the points which you can get if you will implement all those tasks. Yeah, you can see that it's not only about RESTful client, it's about the whole application. Also, we highly encourage you to create YouTube video where you will make an overview of your application and how to use it. I guess this should be like all those videos would have like similarities because you will be working on similar tool, but still it's a great habit to present your work. And believe me, the demo is very important during the development process because you are showing the results of your work, you are showing what you are able to achieve, and you are showing like the benefits of your application, basically. Okay, coming to the penalties. Yeah, first and foremost, like again, if we'll come to my small POC, you can see that I would probably get this 50 points just because I left the default Viva icon. Yeah, basically you can walk through all those details, through all those penalties. We ask you to create tests. We ask you to have a good test coverage. Like lazy loaded routes should be lazy loaded. Make please add linting, add prettier, add husky hooks, and again like the viewer like doing this several times during the main part, so we don't like expect any issues with it. But it's also very important that you will be using either Next.js or Vite with React Router 7 with SSR mode enabled for your development. Why? Because of the course issue. I've already mentioned this. Basically, well, you can like circumvent the course issue simply by creating a small proxy. But let's try to use some more like server rendering oriented things, because well they are mostly used in production. Yep. So that's I guess all about the main part. Please put your questions in the chat if you have any, and I will be moving to the interview part. So yeah, technical interview. Technical interview is mandatory, and technical interview will be conducted during those 4 weeks of the main task. You need to get a minimum 6 points out of 10 to get the certificate. Yeah, so it will be conducted after 6 modules completion during the final task phase. Yeah. So for the interview structure, so this is like basically a reference to mentors on how to conduct interviews, but it might be different because each mentor will be like conducting interviews on their own. Right? So we just suggest them to adhere to the structure, to use some online tool for some code task like Replit, but like it's not a must. So you might get a code task, you might not get a code task at all. For the interview questions, like we provided a list here, but I'm afraid that this list is a little bit outdated. So again, yeah, well, probably doesn't include all the latest and greatest React features. So you need to expect that mentors might ask you about new React 19 features, or what is the difference between different versions of React. But still, you can use those for reference. You can work through the documentation. Like it's still useful. Also, there is like a dedicated section for the Next.js interview, and yeah, so you can also walk through this and get acquainted with this documentation. Going back to the interview, well, I think that's all. Yeah, so you will be distributed for the interviews to different mentors. So please try to reach your interviewer, and again, you need to consider that mentors do not have much time. So, like, if you will ignore them, probably you won't be able to pass the interview. So, yeah, please be very considerate. Okay, let me go to the questions a little bit. I can see that Margarita answers. Okay, there are no many questions, but yeah, thank you, Margarita, for answering those. Should the demonstration video be recorded in English or it can be Russian? Okay, let me show the question here. Well, we strongly recommend that you will do it in English, but we understand that probably there are not so many English-speaking people. So if it will be in Russian, probably it's okay. But yeah, it's highly recommended to do it in English. Okay, next question. There is a different information about points, a minimum score of 6 points out of 10. Oh, okay. Yes, 10 is correct value. We are going to change the scoring here, like it's probably all documentation. Yeah, so yeah, thank you, Margarita. Yeah. The result 10 and with coefficient 1.5. Thank you. Sorry. Okay, but I don't see any more questions here. I guess like you don't have any. Okay, if you have any more questions, yeah, please feel free to put them here. Otherwise, I will bring the stream to a close because, okay, I guess no. So, yeah, given 1 more minute because of the delay. Okay, good question. Is my mentor an interviewer or where I can find the information about the interview? So there will be a distribution, and there is a strict rule that your mentor should not be your interviewer. So it should be like a different mentor. You will be notified. Any more questions? Okay, anyway, yes, we can always use Discord questions, and we will give you a form to also to ask questions. Yeah, thank you, Margarita. Yes, you will find it in the interview tab. One more time, want to congratulate all of you who managed to get to that stage, and I wish you all the best with your final task. Hope that you would be able to implement interesting, like really great solutions. Like, looking forward to seeing them, and have great coding. Thank you very much.